Everybody, welcome to our live question and answer. Glad that you guys are here with us tonight. We'll be going over some stuff that you guys have been asking us over the last few days since we made the post. Also some other things that have come up just in the last few days as well, just in different posts and things like that. So remember, this is interactive. If you have questions, if you have anything like that, feel free to ask them. We're monitoring the chats here. If you're watching on YouTube by chance, we're not monitoring that chat. So make sure you come here to the Facebook group. There's instructions in the YouTube description that tells you how to do that. Join the Facebook group, and then you'll be able to ask any questions that you want live. So I'm just watching it here, seeing some comments, and just making sure that we have everything from everyone. So
guys, remember, right here in the comments, you can ask questions. We only got a few questions that were asked prior to right now. So we'll jump into those and answer those in just a minute. But any question that you guys have, make sure to put it down in the comments, and we'll make sure to get that answered for you guys.
Yep. And I'm just getting a couple screens up here as we're talking, just so I can kind of watch everybody, or watch everything, I should say, and make sure that we have all of our, don't miss anything.
Great.
Cool. All right. So Genius, you want to kick us off, or?
Yeah. Well, first, Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about kind of like that that little email that post I posted yesterday, because it's been coming up a lot. Not only just yesterday, I talked to, the coach student I talked to last week. It's come up on a few different calls that I've had over the last 2 weeks. I know it's also has come up in a group as well. And you've been actually, few people have asked you about it as well, or have talked to you about the offers and things of that nature. A lot of people wonder how we send so many offers, why we send so many offers. And the thing is that we go based on the values that we see on sold properties, right? When we're doing our initial research, which takes us just a few seconds, a few clicks of, in that area, seeing what's sold of like, kind, and quality, and then just making an offer based on that. So a lot of people, and again, we've been told, a lot of coaches are telling students that if someone's asking for $30,000 for a piece of property and it's only worth $20,000, basically that you're wasting your time sending an offer. And that is completely backwards if you ask us, because you don't know what anybody's willing to accept, for one. For two, if you've done the hard work on sending out a letter to get a lead, and that lead calls you showing an interest in selling, it may be a ridiculously high number that they're asking for, but sending an offer is not going to kill you. It's only a few seconds and a few cents as far as money to get that out in the mail. So worst they're going to say is no, not respond. I recommend you send an offer to almost everybody. I mean, if you look up the lot and it's a junk lot, that's just a waste of time. Then maybe you're not. But if anything else, I mean, I'm sending offers to everybody. So
yeah, I mean, just think about it for a minute from the perspective of us selling land. For those who have gotten that far, how often do we get questions along the lines of, what are you willing to take? What's your best deal? Whatever it may be. And we don't give a number. We're always like, the price is listed. It might be listed for 50 grand. You're willing to take 30, maybe, but you're not saying that. Why would you cut why would a seller be, some do, don't get me wrong. Some give you a great number and we jump on those, but a lot of them are going to give you market numbers, right? Or what their tax assessed value is, or anything like that. So it's no different for them than it is for us. So just something you need to think about there. That's why we say, if they contact you, you've gone through the work of marketing, you've spent the time, you spent the money to send them a letter or to send them a text or combination thereof, or whatever it may be. You've gotten that far, and it's amazing. I think I actually did like a short video once on this not that long ago, right? I did one on a short 1-minute video, and it's like, actually follow through. It's amazing how many people, when they get calls back, pick and choose who to mail to based on what they're getting for responses, where in reality, we're mailing offers to 95% plus of people that contact us. And the ones that we're not are ones where there's just too much back taxes, or the lot just isn't what it was, what Genus mentioned originally. So just use some common sense there.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, right now we've gotten several questions that have come in already, Jonathan, which is pretty good. I just got to go to it. Hold on.
See that? Good.
I have to click on something because this is
Sure.
there. All right, so just the ones that we got here, I'm gonna have to go back and find the other ones, which I'll do in a second. As we're kind of talking, I'll go and mess around with and find them. But the ones that we've gotten here so far, between neutral letters or blind offers, which is the better method? Matt, from Matt Burnett. Matt, we don't do much blind offers. So with us is all mostly neutral letters. We do blinds in certain situations, but we don't just blindly mail a whole county, blind offers. That's just, it doesn't work in our opinion, the way neutral letters do, and we don't teach it that way.
Yeah, I've had much better success percentage-wise on my blind offers, but big caveat, super targeted. I know the area, I know what things sell for, I know what I can get, all of that. And because all of that is what I'm making my decision to use a blind offer. And the only way I got there was through, you used the word term neutral. I actually call it an initial letter. And the reason I call it initial letter is because it's just that. It's where we start. We start with that. And then when you find out an area, wow, I can really go in and target. Genus and I were actually just talking about a subdivision that I did 119 deals in. That was all blinds. But I discovered it through the initial letter and did a couple deals and found out what was happening and what was going on in that thing. That way I could able to go in and target it. And I guarantee you, if I hadn't done that, I would have never got 119 deals there. It would have been way lower with just normal blinds. So blinds are based on targeting, initial letter to get everything going from the get-go. And that's something we teach. It's in our course, and we break down how that all works to get the best results possible using that combination.
Yep. Question from Rodney. How do I get to the millions?
Consistency and volume.
That's true. That is absolutely true, actually. What are you guys seeing as the best way to find deals? Mail, hold on, he had a mailers, sorry, message got cut off. Well, I guess it was just, are we using mailers? Well, we do the initial letter strategy as well as text messaging, SMS. That's how we get 100%. That's how I get 100% of my deals, basically, is initial letters and SMS.
Yeah, and we do follow up with those things. That's a big thing too. We have that all built, into our system. A lot of people teach kind of like one and done, and that's not really the smartest way to do things. We have like a whole workflow that we have built out that will follow up with different things. So we're touching that person more than once, and thus getting a better result because of that. But we only use those two things.
Yeah, well, and I guess ringless voicemail, which we put it in as part of our SMS campaign. So those are the ways that we're getting our list. Now,
and I use email. Somebody actually was talking to, I would just had a coaching call, like literally right before this, and I was talking to them about, and they had the same results. Email is so finicky, they just don't get delivered so much. And so they're like, we just don't know if people are getting them. I mean, I send contracts to people that are expecting it by email, to buyers or to sellers that I've come to terms with, different things that we teach. And they're like, I never got it. And so emails get lost in cyberspace or go to spam and all these different things. You tell them to look there. So people are like, why don't you use that more? It's like, you're not really getting good hits, right? So I don't use a whole lot with that, but the other methods are all built in.
Yeah, he had a follow-up question on that. Are you guys using financing? He hasn't found any places that do loans for land or anything like that, unless it's AG. but not for flipping or anything. Not that you would tell them it's to flip, but you get me. We don't, not very many people offer financing on raw land. Um, I mean, there's a few places like, I mean, there's like Carolina Farm Credit over here in North Carolina. They're pretty big with raw land. But I mean, if you're doing double closings like we are, you just need transactional lending. If you don't have the funds, you don't need financing. So, and we have somebody that we did a crush of land with a while back, Dave Dinkle. You go to YouTube and just type in the land method, Dave Dinkle, and it'll pop right up.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to go beyond that. I mean, people say all the time, like, well, I got to own, you don't have to own it. And we teach that straight up. I mean, we teach that in the course and we explain it and have it all out there for everybody. I mean, you really owning the property does have certain advantages, don't get me wrong, but to get into debt, have a loan, all of that doesn't make any sense.
Agreed. So when we pull leads, how long should they have owned the land for?
I don't look at ownership at all. I know people do. I don't, simply because ownership does not break down purchases. It brings down transfers. And transfer can be anything, right? It can be a divorce. It can be just somebody somebody moving it to a trust or an LLC or anything like that, or into their own name, or taking a party off, inherited, probate. And there's so many different things that would transfer ownership, and those things show as less. I change one thing. I could have it in my full name with my middle name, and I could ditch that and put it in just my name. I could have owned the property for 50 years. I do that one thing, it shows that I owned it the day I did it, right? So that's a pretty extreme example. People aren't really going to do that, but they do put it into, they get married, they put it into both names, they get divorced, they put it into one name, whatever it may be. They decide to put it in a trust, all of those things. So because of that, we do not worry about ownership length.
That and the fact that people's lives change every day, just to add to what Jonathan's saying, in addition to how ownership can change the way, or what Jonathan just said, basically. Another thing is people's lives change every day. So they could have purchased a property 6 months ago with the intention of building on it, right? And then plans change, right? Got students that went to college that sucked up all their money. Now they need money, and now they're not going to build on this property. Now they want to sell it, right? So if you don't mail to them, there's an opportunity that you're missing out on money. So those are the biggest reasons why we don't really look at how long someone's owned the land.
Yeah, I've never looked at it. I mean, all I look at on my list are price, really. I mean, it just has to fit the price points that I want. And then, from there we could filter out like people that live nearby and things like that, but very limited depth as far as all of that goes. So many people, they try to create, in fact, I was just talking to somebody about this last week. They try to create this perfect opportunity funnel with all of these different things. And by the time they're done, they've got a list this big.
Yeah.
It really doesn't work.
They got 1,000 leads from their 20,000 records that they had initially. And then they're like, man, I keep running through leads every week. I keep running through a new county every week. Well, that's probably why. I find that Matt said, I find that the higher the value of the property, the seller wants more. Yeah, typically that's true. If you're in a hotter market too, like where, properties are flying left and right, people are buying and selling, a lot of times those sellers tend to kind of know the values of their properties a little bit better, versus if you're in other areas that are just not as hot.
But just remember, you also have a lot more room to play at that the higher number, right? If you're got a property that's 10 grand, you don't have a whole lot of room for upside to be able to, how far can you go with offering on that property? You got a property that's legitimately worth 100 grand. How far can you go? Right? You could start wherever you want, but you could end at 80 grand and still make a $20,000 payday. Right. So you've got so yes, they want more, generally speaking. There's a reason somebody owns $100,000 property, generally speaking, right? They had some money to begin with. So that may be true, but you also have a lot more opportunities to get a property like that, as opposed to I'm not saying the lower end ones. I mean, there's still plenty of opportunity there too, but you could just kind of keep working it and keep going with a higher end one where you don't have that option on lower end.
Yep. Here it goes. Are you hitting all tax delinquent in the county or more targeted for your mailing lists? And then he put, oh, you guys are in North Carolina. I'm upstate South Carolina. How do I work for or with you guys to learn the ropes, guys? We have a course out called the Land Riches Blueprint. We do some a la carte coaching. And a la carte means is basically you choose and pick what you feel that you need versus, like a lot of other speakers and these so-called gurus out here, they have a program and it's X amount of money all up front at one time or, over a few payments or whatever, and it's X price. Ours is a little bit different than that. So if you want more information, you can reach out to us. Somebody on the team will be able to help you out, 980-357-4545. But as far as hitting all tax delinquent, we do hit them, but we don't just focus on that. That's just going to be as part of the list that we get. There's going to be some that are tax delinquent, but that's not what we focus on. At least that's not what I focus on.
Yeah, the vast majority of properties we buy are not tax delinquent. Never have been. I never liked that teaching. I never subscribed to that method. People would say that they're more motivated. I don't believe that's ever been true because there's so many people that pay taxes that hate it, that are just as motivated, and they just pay it because they don't know what the repercussions are. So, and we break that down in the course. So yeah, that's we hit everybody. If it fits the price point and it hits the geography, meaning like they're not living a door away, they get contacted from us. Whether it's, whatever our minimum is all the way up to our max value, tax delinquent or not, owned it for a day, owned it for 100 years, all of it doesn't matter. If it fits our criteria for what the property is, the value, and where the owner's located, then yes, we get it. And somebody just posted, can we ask questions in this chat? Yes. So this is interactive, guys. So anybody that's watching this, you can ask questions here. I think it's streaming in 3 locations, actually. It's streaming in 2 spots on Facebook. It's in the event and just on the group. It's also streaming on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I put a note in there. We're not monitoring that. So don't ask questions there. You need to join the group if you want to ask questions, outside of YouTube. That's just more for replay and things like that for those who haven't been able to see this. But anybody else that wants to ask, go ahead. We're monitoring both chats. And it is being recorded. Somebody asked that too. So yes, it's recorded. It's streaming live on YouTube. It'll stay out there. It's just part of the Crushing Land series that's going to be out there. All of the other things that we do. So it'll be in there in that playlist. You'll be able to watch it at any point that you want. It stays there. So yeah. So feel free to ask questions in either chat on Facebook. And yes, you can watch it whenever is good for you.
Yep. So Arena asks, is there a way to find a recent cash buyers if there's no way to sort sales or transfers? I just want a cash buyers list.
Yeah, there's third-party services that teach you that you can pull that you can pull cash buyers from. Problem is most of them are buying houses. There are some buying land. You'd have to filter it down to just land. How good is that data? I don't know. It's third party, so it's all good. It's as good as wherever they got it from and how good their filtering is and all of that. Cash buyers are not hard to find though if you market in the areas that we tell you to market in, right? If you market in, the different forms and the different things that we show you, and people come in all the time that are, that are cash buyers. And honestly, land is people just kind of have that assumption anyway, that it's going to be cash buyers because they're going to be cash, right? Unless you're offering financing. You get some people here and there that ask you if you're offering financing, but if you're not, as Gina said earlier, land is not, it's not something that's financed easily. So if it's not something that's financed easily from the bank, those people know that. Where it could come into play sometimes is like land home packages. They've got some sort of deal like that. But generally speaking, you're selling to cash buyers for almost every transaction. They find you. It's not difficult to find them.
And I know on the chat, Joe put, can you talk a little more about comps? Joe, if you're in this Q&A, send us a question that you have about comps and we can answer it for you. I know you were on asking when does it start, and I just replied to that. So if you're on here, Joe, in either of the chats or either of the Facebook's lives that you're on, you can ask the question that you have and we'll answer it for you. Yeah, I'm trying to see if, come on, I know you guys got more questions than this, guys. I mean, we're doing a Q&A. People say they need help. We do a Q&A in a group, and then we got 3 people asking questions, right? Like, I mean, are you guys serious about making money, or are you guys just saying you want to make money? Because I know one thing, when I was just getting started and I was listening to Q&As and stuff, you best believe I was on every single free Q&A I could get and asking as many questions as I could within those 30 minutes or hour that they were on. So I can familiarize myself, get better, get some questions answered, then go back and listen to it later on. So guys, most people don't do this, especially often. So ask questions if you have them, man.
Well, it looks like Joe followed up. He said, where do you get your comps?
Where do you ask that at? In the chat?
Yeah, it's in there now. No, on the video. It's right under where you just wrote.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got both of them up now. We get our comps mainly from Zillow. And you're looking for like kind of quality. The whole purpose of doing research is to not spend 20 minutes per property, because you're never going to be able to grow. I mean, the whole purpose is 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes as you're getting started, maybe 5 to 10, because you like to overthink a lot of things. A lot of newer people like to overthink and try to get exact figures and exact numbers, and they sit there for a long periods of time trying to nail down an exact figure. Like, don't worry about it. You're sending a lot. The offer you're sending is a lot less than what it's going to be worth. So you have a little bit of wiggle room, or you should have wiggle room. If you don't have any wiggle room, you're offering way too much money. But
yeah, I mean, comps, and the reason we like Zillow, honestly, is because it pulls from everywhere. Like Realtor.com is just realtor listings, MLS listings, like Redfin, same thing. Zillow pulls that because it's syndicated from the MLS. It also has some for sale by owners. It just pulls tax roll records. It does a lot of different things. And so that, you seem to get more data and more information from Zillow than you do from, from other sources. That's all.
Yep. Then Danielle asks, can you convince a seller to not continue with the realtor with their vacant lot sale, or you have to speak to the realtor? We don't convince anybody. If they have it listed, that's fine. We send an offer directly to the seller. It's up to them to do what they want from there. We're not convincing anybody to stop working with an agent or to work with an agent, or if we see that it's on the MLS and we still want to make an offer, we're going to make an offer based on what we see and the price that we come up with. And we're going to send that offer, just like we do any other offer, directly to the seller or the owner of that lot, and then let them do with it whatever they want with it at that point. If they want to show their agent, if they want to decide they don't want to work with the agent and accept our offer, whatever the case is, that's up to them. But
nothing changes. Because sometimes when you run comps, they don't even tell you it's listed. But sometimes when you run comps on Zillow, you see the property for sale. And so at that point it's listed. But that's between them and their agent. Now, I would never get in the middle, because that could be illegal activity. I mean, you're interfering. I mean, you could never say don't work with somebody. But the agreement is a listing agreement, is between, I have nothing to do with that. That's between them and their agent. So if they sign our contract and they try to cut their agent out, that agent does have the right to come back for their commission on that, nothing more, but they do have the right to come back for their commission. But yeah, we've bought properties that have been listed, and that's between them. And then we've seen the agent gets involved, he gets paid off the HUD and things like that, but we don't treat them any differently. If they've got a letter from us or SMS from us and they respond then they simply just get the normal correspondence, and it's up to them what they do with it at that point.
Yep. As far
And I don't
as,
bother looking to see if it's in the MLS. I don't care. I mean, if it shows up in a comp, that's a good way to tell, obviously, but I don't go out and hunt it. It's not worth it. No reason.
yeah. Somebody asked here, does the land method have a CRM system that can pull a property list and create a full mailing package and send potential offers? And then he put, he's using the investment dominator, which is a valuable tool. I'm here to see if the land method is a better fit. As far as CRM, we do have one. It's not out yet. It will be coming out soon. I'm not giving a date on it. I've done that a few times and it hasn't worked, so I'm not putting a date on it this time. But I will say this: we are very, very close. And I promise you one thing: it will be the best thing on the market. That's one thing I'm pretty sure it will be. And I'm not here to brag. You guys can be the judge of that yourself. But I've been using it for the last several months. Jonathan's been using it, and it's what it does. The follow up, it does SMS, a ringless voicemail. You'll be able to even call people right through there as well. So I mean, it's an all-in-one. You're not going to be able to get a list because we don't personally, like myself and Jonathan personally, don't get lists from third-party sources. We go directly to the county. So we're not big on, and don't get me wrong, we recommend DataTree, we recommend PropStream. You know, if people want to get lists that way, that's fine. That's not how we get our lists. So we probably won't have something like that, at least not initially. I know that for sure. Maybe down the road, but initially we won't have that.
And honestly, that's not a huge tool, because getting a list and importing it is seconds. I mean, I can go download a list from, I'm actually working with a county right now. Perfect example. So I've got a county that I'm working, a state that I'm working with, non-disclosed state. So the county's kind of giving me a little bit of the runaround. It's on DataTree. So download the list from DataTree. I'll have the list. I'll import it in. I mean, I'll get it, import it in. It'll be in my CRM. I mean, what did that take me? 5 minutes? So that part, but then from there on, everything in there, the way Genius was talking, is basically autopilot, is the way we've had this CRM design, where it runs, the mail sent, it goes out certain days. When they respond certain ways, it does certain things. If they don't respond, it kicks it to something else. So it's basically following this thing through, whatever the situation is, for a couple of months. And so there's a lot less work, and it's making sure that I was talking to somebody today about it, the person we're working in developing and everything, and it was like basically redundancy and automations built in, so that stuff saves you time and effort, and you can do more deals because of that. So just something to know, and we'll have a lot more information on that coming up in the weeks to come.
Yep. And I know Jenny put here, do you get more responses from direct mail or SMS? You definitely get a ton more responses from SMS. It is a little bit more work though, because you might get like 30% responses, but maybe 5 or 6% out of overall. 25% of that 30% is going to be, quit, stop, don't reach out, whatever it is, opt me out. But I'm seeing probably around, I want to say, man, I just looked at it like a week ago. I want to say it's about just under 5.5% as far as response from SMS. For direct mail, I'm hovering just under 3% currently. So obviously more responses SMS, quicker responses, quicker way to get deals. Just because if someone said, when I ask the question, how much are you looking to get? If the price, if they say let's say they say 10,000, I go do my research and I'm like, 10,000 is not a bad price. I'm sending them a contract right now so they can sign it right now, and I can get that deal today instead of mailing a contract and doing all that stuff like we normally do. So if the price is right, we're trying to get it right away. If it's not right, or it's, they say they want 10 and I'm sending them a $5,000 offer, then I'm mailing it at that point.
And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details on this. We do break it down in the training. but best bang for your buck is doing both. If you're starting off and it's scratch, then yeah, jump into text because you can get a deal. We had a video on that. We had a student that we interviewed, and then from there, that's just, he was able to get deals like I think he had like 3 in like 2 months. And so you can get a lot quicker responses that way. But we've tested it. And if you've already mailed, if you're doing things, that actually even comes up better if you've mailed first and then follow up with text afterwards. And we have all the timings and all the breakdown and all of that. We teach you guys how to do all of that. And that's actually all going to be built in the CRM as well, to help you with that, to get the best possible results that you can.
Yeah, if you want to maximize, you definitely want to do both. You want to do the direct mail and you want to do SMS. If you're looking for something just like Jonathan said, just get started quickly, then absolutely decide on one or the other. You can't do both. The biggest thing with us and nowadays, as obviously there's a little bit more competition as far as a lot more speakers out here that are selling education and doing all of this stuff, right? But with that comes a lot more new people that get into the business. They don't last long, but they get into the business, they do a flood of stuff. And then if they don't get a deal pretty quick, guess what? They move back on to doing what they were doing previously, whether that's houses or real estate doesn't work, and whatever the case is. But because the responses are not like how it used to be, right? Where you can get 15% in one county, which is great, but it requires a lot more work, right? Whereas before you were just sending out one letter. If they don't respond, oh, well, move on. Well, now it's all about maximizing every lead that comes in, right? So if I send you an offer, or if I send you a letter and you don't respond, I'm gonna send you a text. If you don't respond, I'm gonna send you another text. If you don't respond, I might leave you a ringless voicemail, right? So we have a whole setup on how to maximize every opportunity that comes in, and that's what we're bringing. So again, we're trying to do the best we can to not leave any money on the table. Whereas some speakers are still doing that one touch stuff like it used to be, which is fine. It's just not. Today's world is a lot different than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. And the difference too is, just one touch can still work. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to mail a whole bunch more to get the same numbers. And they're like, well, now you got to, before it used to be like mail a few hundred a week. Now it's like mail a few thousand a week if you want to get the same numbers. Whereas we haven't really upped our mailing a huge amount, but when we're adding in these extra ways of reaching the person, now we're in a position where, okay, this is getting the best bang for your buck with getting them and things. And I talk about a deal that I did, where the guy completely ignored the first couple touches, and then he did the last one, and he signed the contract, and the contract was for 12 grand, and it's listed for 80. So, that's just fairly recent. So that's a thing where if it was one touch, it would have been a dead deal. But multiple touches, now it stands to be a possible, $70,000 deal. It's a big difference.
Yeah. How do you go about finding title companies after a deal's been signed?
First, you want to find your title companies before the deal signed. You don't want to be caught behind the 8 ball trying to find one. So if you know you're going to work in an area, you want to go being looking for them. Not after, generally speaking, you want to find ones that are investor friendly. Again, we break this down. We actually give you what to ask them, in the course, but you want to find ones that are investor friendly. You want to find ones that are okay with double closings. You want to find ones that generally work an area larger than just the county. They might be a little bit more expensive, but that's, not the end of the world, because if you can keep working, I got like a few of the ones I work, it's like one for the state. So much easier. And I'd rather spend a little bit more money than having to find one per county. It's like one person like, oh, I'd rather work, one buyer said, I'd rather work with this person. And I love their numbers. They were cheaper. It was like $100 a deal cheaper. But at the same time, it's like they only worked that county. And I'm like, well, how many deals am I going to do in that county? As opposed to the whole state. So I'd rather find one that I can just keep using over and over and over and understands my methods, and then starts to give me breaks and starts to give me kickbacks and starts to do, reissue credits on things and all of that different stuff. That's,
and when deals fall apart, they're not charging you every little bit.
Yeah, they don't charge you. A student asked me last week, I worked with this new guy and he's trying to charge me X because the deal fell apart. And that doesn't even happen. all of that different stuff. That's huge.
Yep, absolutely. So try to find the title company beforehand. Pick up the phone and call some. In addition to that, there's a ton of Facebook groups. I'm sure you're in other land groups as well. Post it in every land group you're in. Hey, I need a title company in this area or in this state. And I'm sure somebody will respond and you'll get at least a few of them.
It doesn't even have to be land, right? It could just be any real estate group in that area. Because honestly, if they're okay with investing double closings and assignments and stuff like that on houses, they're going to be okay with it on land as well.
Yep.
Real estate's real estate.
And Corey, who do you use for direct mail, or all of them about the same? And I put that in here, Corey, tlmletters.com. We use Rocket Print. We recommend Rocket Print. They're very good. They're a lot less expensive than a lot of others. And our students have had a very, very, very good success. And they do it, and they've changed it up to do it the way we do it, right? Not the windowed envelopes, not the indicia and all of that stuff. Like ours is like the physical stamp on the letter, the way we do it, the way we teach it. That's how they do it for you. So that's who we recommend. You can go right on to tlmletters.com and you'll see the prices that they charge based on how many you buy. So hope that helps you out, man. I know I've talked to some people that do like REI Print and other ones, and they're like 80 cents a letter, 90 cents a letter for first class. I'm like, wow, that's pretty expensive.
And just two things with that quick. There is a crushing land with them, so you can watch that and hear the details. But with tlmletters.com, like Gina said, it is Rocket Print, but go to the tlmletters.com because we've worked out a deal for you guys where, you know, you're basically getting the cheapest price, the windowed envelope price, but without the windowed envelope. And also you can use like blue ink instead of just having black ink, and you're getting a live stamp instead of the indicia. So we're getting you like the cheaper price, but for what we use. So they gave us a deal for throwing them this extra business stuff. So they track that. And so TLM Letters gets you that. And also the other thing with them that's really nice is basically the more you buy up front, the cheaper it gets, but you're only paying for the printing up front and you're not actually printing them up front. So you could be buying a 10,000 piece package at, 15 cents each. So whatever it may be. So it's $1,500. That's what you pay up front for 10,000 pieces. And then you actually pay the postage cost as you mail. So you're only paying
so every 1,000 it'll be $360 every week. Yeah. If you send 1,000 a week, I believe it's 36 cents right now is what they charge. It's all on there. If you click on that link, it's all on there. But if it's 36 cents a stamp for bulk mail, then you'll pay that $360 every week that you mail. So as soon as you pay them, they'll put it in the mail and get your letters out. So do you verbally try to ask or make deals on the phone, or do you do due diligence, then get back to the seller? We almost never negotiate over the phone initially. If they're calling me back from a letter I sent them, we have a list of questions that we ask them as far as about the property. And then we send them an offer. We do our due diligence and send them an offer in the mail. Why? Because if you haven't done due diligence, you don't even know what to offer them. And a lot of times people call you and say, hey, what's your offer? And you tell them exactly that. Sorry, I don't sit here and do a bunch of research when I'm mailing you an initial letter. We don't research until you call us, because not everybody's interested in selling. So very simple. And then
the only exception to that is really SMS if they give a number that's remotely close to what we would actually. They tell me they want 20 grand, and that one Gina's had, for example, that was mailed, right? What was the numbers? I forgot. What they tell you they wanted, and what was the actual?
Oh, the 20,000, and then I mailed them 7,000 minus the taxes. It was like 6,600 or something.
So that case is just getting in the mail. Now, if they said 20 and it was worth 20, legitimately worth 20 for me to buy, then I'd go back and or if they said 25 and it was 20, I might go back in that case and be like, hey, I can't quite do that. But those are few and far between. Most people you'll experience do not give you a number on any level. Doesn't matter. What are you looking to get for the property? You tell me. I haven't thought about it. I'm not sure. Best value possible. Market value.
Not in a rush.
Yeah. They very rarely give you a number. Unless they're like, some people are just like, I need to get rid of this thing and I'll take anything. And those are the people that you're like, okay, I'll jump on this and work. But other than that, just go through the normal procedure and mail them the offer.
Jenny asked, she's been flipping land for about 5 years, been pretty successful. She's training with another company. Your name looks familiar. But I do want to scale up my business, maybe get back to basics because things are slowing down for me. Do you recommend that I buy a course or just go straight into some a la carte coaching? I mean, Jenny, I definitely recommend you either schedule a call with us. We could chat a little bit further, just kind of see where you're at, where you've been, where you're looking to go. And then we can basically put something better, in front of you based on what you're looking to do and what makes sense all the way around, right? I mean, it's not like, hey, yeah, go straight into coaching or hey, go buy the course. The course, as you know, like any other course out there, is more self-help with some like email support, basic support, things like that. Obviously, the coaching is more like we're in your business, helping you with your business. We actually have had somebody just join us recently from another coaching program as well. And she's in this chat tonight, Irina. So Jenny, you can reach out to Irina and just ask her how her experience has been over the last few weeks with us. And I mean, that'll just give you an indication there of you'll see the difference, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
And one of the things with anybody that calls us, not just you, Jenny, anybody that calls, if you call us, I don't know if the number got put in here, but if not, we'll drop it in. But it's you can put it in both chats, actually. It's not pressure. I think maybe some people are used to like high pressure sales calls. Like, you need to do this or you're it's not about that. It's about finding out if we fit, where you're at, what's best for you. We're not about taking your last penny and then you don't have any money to do the business. That doesn't do you any good, right? It's about bringing your business to the next level, all of those things. So if you're interested, you can call, no pressure. We'll have a chat with you and see if it goes from there. And that's actually something I'm really proud of. I think that came up for anybody that watched it. Was it 2 weeks ago? We did the Crushing Land where Keely interviewed me and she was asking like, how was it going? And what was like my proudest moment or accomplishment or anything like that. And I said, I love the fact that people see the difference and they've done other coaching programs. I think a huge amount of people that come to us are ones that have done other programs and they felt lacking. And then they come to us and they're like, oh, you guys really, like, I should have started with you. And if you didn't, that's fine. We come after like some other people did, but I really, to me, that's huge because it's like we're doing it the right way and people are really benefiting and they're seeing those results and things like that. So, and
it's just because there's a lot of things that go into it. I mean, for one, what we're doing the business, not saying that anybody else isn't, but we know most aren't. Not everybody, because there's some very good programs out here, some very good coaches out here. So I'm not knocking everybody, but the majority, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys have been around the block. I'm sure most of you guys have been around the block and know what I'm talking about. Number two is we are willing to put in the time to help you, right? I mean, one thing I tell every student that we work with is don't be shy to ask us any single question possible, right? Because some people are like, I don't want to ask this question because I don't want to feel stupid. No, ask the question. If you're investing money to get help, why be scared to ask questions, right? Why be scared to ask for the help, right? If you're investing to get to where you want to be. So we're really big on making sure every question is answered, making sure it's broken down where you understand, and making sure you're taking action. At the end of the day, we're not going to do it for you. We're going to show you how to do it, but we will not do it for you. So that's something that, some people spend money and think that, hey, they're going to do the work for me, so I'm going to sit back. It don't work like that. You still got to put in the work. It's not get rich quick. It takes time. But we're trying to help you where you're successful long term, right? Where you're continuing to be successful because you're following the plan. And you understand there's really high months, there's really low months throughout the year. And it's about fighting through that and how to fight through that and what you need to be doing, how to prepare, all of that good stuff that comes into helping you be where you need to be.
Yeah. Our goal is for you to have a running business, right? You can learn the business. You can learn the foundation. I call it the foundation. I always have the 30,000 foot view from the course, right? But that's what it's teaching you. It's teaching you the aspects of how it works. When you start getting into the coaching and working with us in that's when we're like Gina said, we're interjecting into your specific needs and your specific things. And then from there, you're able to roll the goal and get higher and higher with as far as you want to go. And it's funny. I'm actually have a student right now that he was a student of mine. It's just a funny story, and he doesn't care that I taught. He was a student of mine. He blew up his business to 7 figures, and he hired me to coach him again to downsize his business because he said, I don't need it this big. I don't need to be overseeing something this large. I want to get to the point where I'm only working, it's like, great, I'm making 7 figures a year, but I'm working like crazy hours to do it. I'd rather make high 6 figures or mid 6 figures and work a few hours a day like you guys are doing. So show me where to make those adjustments. So with the a la carte, that worked well for him because instead he wouldn't have never dropped $50,000, $60,000 on a package, right? But he's like, okay, I'll buy a few months. And that's what we've been working on. And he's already been implementing and already seeing results. So really it can be anything for anyone that wants to do it. And that's something that we're, really happy, really there to help you guys with.
Absolutely. Now, there's a few more questions that came in, Jonathan. So let me go ahead and ask those so we don't forget. With double closings, are there some important questions to ask the buyer to make sure they're reliable? The buyer, the end buyer, no. They don't even need to know you're doing a double closing. You don't need to even bring that up ever.
You need to get a signed contract and you need to get a deposit. If they give you those 2 things, you're good to go.
You're good to go. Exactly. I mean, you're sending the A to B and the B to C contracts to the title company or attorney. They're handling the rest. Your buyer never needs to know that you're doing a double closing or anything like that. Obviously,
neither does your seller. Neither side.
Yeah, neither does your seller. Nobody needs to know. The
only person in a double closing, A to B, B to C, that needs to know your double closing is B, you. Nobody else needs to know it. Now, obviously, the attorney needs to know. But out of the parties, the attorney needs to know if you need transactional funding. They need to know all that stuff. But no other party needs to know what you're doing.
Exactly. Now, here goes another question. Will Batch Leads integrate with your new CRM? This is a great question, Don, because once we get the CRM out, you will no longer need Batch Leads. Our CRM is going to do everything Batch Leads does besides pulling the leads. But our CRM is going to do everything Batch Leads does. As far as the text messaging, again, we have ringless voicemail. We have a power dialer on there. You can post on your social media right from there, Facebook and Instagram and all of these, LinkedIn and everywhere. It's very powerful as what you're going to be able to do with it.
Yeah, you just stay tuned for more. We could be here for hours just going over that alone, but it will basically put I think our slogan is put your land investing on autopilot, right? That's literally what it's designed to do. You drop in and you pick the workflows that you want, whether it be just direct mail or direct mail and text or text first, then direct mail or just texting, whatever it is, blind offers, they're all built in. You pick them, you drop them in, and until people respond somehow, it just keeps moving them along. Obviously, when people respond, you need to get in there. That's when you're actually following up, right? Because that's what we always do.
But it automatically removes them from certain workflows also. So
as soon as you mark that as, hey, this person responded to this text and wants an offer, you say they want an offer, you click that button, they're done. They're not going to get anything else. But until that happens, they're going to keep working. And we'll explain all that. We'll show it all to you. But again, that's a future episode or training, or I don't even know how we're going to do it yet. We'll figure that out. But yeah, it'll be huge for anybody that's serious about this business.
Are there any states that don't like the idea of marketing a property that you don't own? I ran into this in Tennessee and Ohio. Is there any legal jeopardy here?
So I've done deals in both those states and have no problems. 2 things. So 1, I know in Ohio it's the case. I didn't know this was an issue in Tennessee. I don't think it is. But Ohio does not like you doing that for houses, owner-occupied buildings. Land isn't even included. They don't care. That's true in a lot of areas. Land's a totally different beast. So you have to know that. That's a conversation to have with an attorney. I know that's not an issue in Ohio because I actually heard it was, and I knew it was for houses, and I asked the attorney. And he told me, no, you don't need to worry about that for land. And then another company verified that for me. So that was good. 2, sometimes it's just a simple disclosure, 1 sentence at the end of the thing, and it's not that you don't own it. It's basically like the owner of record is not the person selling this property. the company that will be selling it to you, the owner or we will be, I forgot how it's worded. We have it in there, but we'll be taking title to the property before it's transferred to you. Not we're buying it and flipping it. You're not explaining it. You're basically just saying, we're not yet on title. We will be. And they can verify that with the closing attorney or title company, whichever it is in that state. I had a state where I was doing that, I had multiple listings, and I was like, oh, this is going to create a bunch of questions or people are going to ask. One person asked me what that line meant at the end. And when I just explained it just like that, oh yeah, well, we are currently transferring it into our LLC, and then we're going to, that LLC will be the one selling it to you. They were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And they did the deal. So a lot of it's just knowing how to talk to people and what needs to be put in. But you need to have those conversations. If you're going to work in states like that, you need to just have those conversations with a real estate attorney in that state and find out if it's actually an issue for land. And if it is, just what verbiage needs to be put in, because it's usually a simple sentence. And that verbiage is already written into all of our contracts anyway. So we're already protected all 50 states because of that.
Yep. Guys, we appreciate trying to help you guys. And you guys being on to listen to us and listen to some of our answers. It looks like that's it for the questions. I don't see anything else coming up here. So like we always say, if you guys have any questions, you guys can schedule a quick call with us. It's no pressure. We're not going to tell you that we're the best thing since sliced bread and you have to do this or do this in order to make $1, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you believe us, if you feel that we can help you, that's your decision. We know what we can do. We know what we bring to the table, and we know how we're able to help people. It's just up to you. Are you willing to take the help, accept it? Are you willing to learn? And are you willing to do? If you are, reach out to us, 980-357-4545. You can also go right onto the landmethod.com. There's a link there that you can schedule a 15-minute call with myself or one of our team members. And again, just have a conversation, man. I mean, you don't have to say, hey, I'm going to do this. You can say, hey, let me talk to these guys, see what they're about, see how they can possibly help me. And then from there, we have a conversation. But again, we'll never pressure you. We'll never tell you you need to work with us in order to make money or anything like that, man. That's not how we do business. We know there's a lot of other speakers out here. We know there's some good speakers out here. We know there's some terrible speakers out here. We know that a lot of speakers just want your money. They're making 99% of the money off education. We're not. We do the majority of the money we make is off of our deals, and we actually do deals together as well. Me and Jonathan.
And we post them. I mean, we give you guys proof. We actually show you our deals.
Yeah, and
not all of them. I mean, I'm not going to make a post every other day, but we show you our deals, and we show you. I showed you my offers yesterday, right? The offers that were 2 days ago. I mean, all of these things. So we're pretty transparent in everything that we do for you guys.
Yeah, and that's how we'll continue to be. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, want to schedule a call just to see what we're about, whether it's about a course, whether it's about a coaching program, or whatever the case is, man, we're here to try to help you guys out. And we look forward to, oh, by the way, now that we're at the end of the call, we will be having a training live in the Facebook group next month, beginning of next month sometime. So stay tuned in the next few weeks for more details on that. You'll probably get some emails. You'll probably see a little bit of marketing going out there. But yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us, man. And we'll kind of take it from there. We got to get prepared for our 7 o'clock call now, Jonathan.
And just really quick, guys, if you're watching this, I see a couple questions about if it's going to be posted stuff. Yes, everything like this stays on YouTube. And this will actually be on the podcast. If you're listening, you can listen as well. If you do that, the Crushing Land podcast, it stays in the group. We don't pull stuff down. It's on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it there. If you're listening to this later and you've asked questions, and they didn't get answered, obviously it's because we didn't see them because it's live. So if you asked questions after the fact and you're like, they never answered mine, well, just post it in the group. If you have a question, right? Post it as a group question. We welcome questions in the group. So go ahead and post that. You'll see different people asking it. Like I said, if you were watching this on YouTube at all, live or not, we weren't monitoring that. So if you're in there, as the post said, join the group, ask the questions there if by chance you did any of those things. And you saw maybe a post, I think Ryan made a post about our group coaching call tonight and doing that. And so that's all part of the a la carte stuff. That's something that can be included. It's something that doesn't have to be included. It's something that you can get alone. That's where we talked about different things where that's every other week. So if you want something like this every other week and that's all you want, we actually have an option for that, right? Way more detailed than this, but something like this kind of format, all of these different things. So if you have any questions on any of that stuff, reach out, give us a call. It's in the description. We put the numbers a couple of times in the comments. We're more than happy to talk to you about anything available that might help you guys moving forward.
Cool. Well, y'all have a great evening, and we look forward to continuing to help you guys in the group. Keep asking questions, keep asking for help, and we'll be here to help you guys out.
See you guys next time. Have a great afternoon or evening or whatever it is in your area.